Get Warrior Tough. Mental Training 101 with Andrew Wittman and Dutch Coleman on 105.5 The Roar. And now back to Andrew and Dutch.
It's the Dutch Coleman dance party. You should get the YouTube video just to see me and Dutch chair dancing right now. Isn't this fun? I'm digging it. All right, man, let's talk about the football, man. I love the Clemson game, baby.
Oh man, I
the beatdown. What up?
You know, I felt really bad about the prospects of beating any team as bad as we did. But you know what?
No.
People saw the behavior that Miami exhibited pregame. The nonsense that was going on. And, of course, I'm blaming them. I don't care how much we had to do with it. It looked to me on television like they were talking trash. And so I couldn't think of a better group to do what we did to. And I'm sure there was some karma in that.
You know there is, man.
And I even get on my own team. You know, when a guy gets, we talked about it earlier, when a guy gets a nice hit after a 15-yard completion that the defense that defense gave up, it's 3rd and 12, you give up a 15-yard completion, and you hit the guy really hard, and then you're doing some dance or you're doing some celebration when they got the first down.
Yeah, the taunting. Yeah, that was, man.
That makes me so angry. So whenever a team like Miami comes in and they behave the way they did pregame, and then you are able to smack them down like we did, and I'm saying we, my Clemson Tigers,
yep, I'm
excited. And I was all for running the score up just because of that nonsense. But I respect what Dabo did, and he elected not to run it up. Now, it ended up being a bad score.
Yeah, it was like double nickels.
To run it up. yeah.
We weren't even trying.
What was it, 58?
Was it 58?
Yeah,
I know it was a lot, man. Yeah, I stopped counting after a while. So.
Their record for a margin of defeat was 56. So we broke it 58, yes.
And it was a shutout, right?
Shutout.
See, this is how I like my football. Now, I got to watch football with you, which I don't normally do, right? Normally I just watch football with you via Twitter. But your Twitter feed that thing was going off the whole time. and I would just look over your shoulder instead of have to check my phone to tweet. But it was fun watching. But how about when, like, Dabo called him over and he said, hey, look, we're going to be who we are. I don't care what they do. Now, I love this. This is such a great mental toughness message. We don't care what anybody else does. We act how we act. We are who we are, and we're not going to get sucked into their nonsense. Mm-hmm. And that's just a great mental toughness message. You do you, CEO of you. You take control of you. It doesn't matter what anybody else does. I can't control what they do, but I can control my own response. And so that's just world-class, championship, elite warrior thinking right there. Hats off, Dabo. You're doing a great job, man.
And Dabo may not know this, but that's exactly what we were teaching this week to the lieutenants and captains.
It sure was.
That's exactly what we were teaching. And I liked how intentional Dabo was about it. Before they could go into the halftime to the locker room, he stopped them before they went in, and he dealt with it right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the beauty of it, that he didn't want the moment to escape. He wanted to get it right there and deal with it directly, and that's what he did. I appreciate it. I appreciate that guy leading my university the way he is, and the young men, because I know a ton of the young men on the team right now. I deal with them to this day.
Yeah, you're a mentor to a lot of them, man.
And I appreciate that he's the leader in place for those young men.
And he's from Alabama, just wanted to say. Roll Tide.
Oh, speaking of Roll Tide.
Oh, duh. You know what? So I like my football. Now, you know I like my football the way Clemson played today.
Yes.
That's how I like my football. I do not like my football the way Alabama played. Now, that is just, I am not happy with that whole, because here's the deal, man. Play to a standard. Now, at no time was I worried that Alabama was going to lose to Tennessee. And you know that.
Right.
And you weren't either.
Right.
We were watching this game together. And no time was I worried, but I was like, I wanted to throw stuff at your TV, but it was your TV, so I didn't throw stuff at it.
I'd say you were more disappointed. You weren't worried that they were going to.
No, I wasn't worried. I do not like look, we play to a standard. You play your best every play. They look tired, and even if you are tired, you don't play tired. You get tired afterwards. You sleep when you're dead. Daggone it.
But you were more concerned about the execution, what seemed to be the fatigue. The emotional worn down. They seem to be emotionally worn down.
Yeah, they were just like, and I know they've had a tough schedule, dude. Mm-hmm. But you know what? Excuse. we play to a standard.
Yep.
You got to bring your A game every time you go on the field, man. And I'm not being critical of those guys. We've all been in spots where we're tired. I just want to use it as a teaching point of no matter, like I said, we're not worried because they're so dominant over Tennessee. I wasn't worried. I mean, Tennessee has not found a way to win in forever. What was they said their losing streak was like, what was it? I can't remember. They said I don't know. But anyway.
It wasn't good.
No, so I know that they would. I wasn't worried, but I don't like to see. And then, Dutch, when I was working at the State Department, man, as a consultant, and I'm training, those guys to go do high threat diplomatic, people either loved me or hate me. There's nobody that says, yeah, Andrew, he's okay. They either love me or hate me. You know why? Because we played to a standard. And when I say play to a standard, we train to a standard, we perform to a standard, or you're not going to pass. I'm not going to sign off on your certification. I'm not going to put you in combat, man.
Yeah.
You could hate that. And there was people, they've never failed in anything in their life. These are SF kind of guys, special ops guys. And then you fail them out of the course, man. They do not like that because they don't fail. You know what I mean? But if you're not going to perform to the standard, then I can't use you, man.
Well, what people don't realize is that when you prepare, perform, you execute to a standard, then the external factors no longer matter. Because when you show up, there's nothing that you can tell me that's going to affect how I prepared. You can't say, oh, the sun's out today. Oh, it's cold today. It's rainy today. You're going to be really tired because you got to play 4 overtimes today. There's nothing that you can tell me externally that's going to affect the way I prepared to play this game. So when you prepare to play towards a standard and you execute to a standard, when you do everything to a standard, that standard is universal. It is a level of excellence that fits anywhere. And so when you begin to do that, when you begin to live that way, no matter the situation, you're going to find yourself as being the one that's okay. Everyone else is going to be falling apart.
Right.
Everyone's going to be screaming and dying and crying and, well, what's going on?
Yeah.
And they're going to look at you and you're going to be calmly handling the situation because none of that matters. None of those external factors matter.
No, you just got to execute. And so, and you said something about excellence, and my internal identity is that I'm a man of excellence who always keeps his word. So I always go, I'm giving 100% effort. If I made a mistake, I will course correct, but I'm giving maximum effort every time. And so you've got to find a way emotionally, no matter how physically tired you are, no matter how, emotionally tired you are, no matter how exhausted you are, you've got to find a way to get up and perform when it's time to perform. Now, I've been doing like almost, it's like 220 audiences a year I've been speaking to. So I am literally, I've been home like 36 hours on a weekend. You know what I mean? And I've been running this op tempo, this pace since like the beginning of the year. And I will go all the way until I think November 10th. And then I can take a break from November 10th. And I say a break, I'm not traveling. I have nothing scheduled right now until the end of the year from November 10th. So I got about 5 or 6 weeks off. It doesn't matter how exhausted I am. Every time that I get up to perform, I have to execute. And every audience deserves 100% my best. Now, you saw me on this week. I'm rolling into town. I am beat, right? Mm-hmm. Can you tell that I'm exhausted when I get up on the platform, I get up on the podium, and I spend 6 hours training?
No sign of it. No sign of exhaustion. No sign of you being worn down. No sign of how your week might have been, how your day might have been before you got up on the podium. I saw no sign of it. And that's the way the elite warriors perform. That's why there's no because. Well, I was this way because of this. Because when you begin to name all those external factors, my identity is I'm a man of God that loves.
And you do love, man.
And so when people are being difficult or people acting a certain way or people live a life that's not congruent with the way I live or is not acceptable to other people, I can still love those people.
Yeah.
Because I live to a standard. Mm-hmm. And so that means those external factors, those reasons other people don't love, don't affect me, because I live to a standard and I live to love to that standard. And so when people introduce reasons why other people don't love somebody, it doesn't affect me. I can begin to minister to them and to their lives without those external factors that are affecting other people.
Wow,
it doesn't affect me. And so that, again, that's that elite warrior mentality.
Right. So that's like the secret sauce for you, because I've seen you coach people that I would want to throttle. You know?
Yeah.
So, and I look at, you know, and you're an amazing guy. And so there's the secret, because you perform to that standard that you love people no matter what.
Yeah. And I tell people, you know, we're so worried about other things. We were asked to do one thing, and that was to love. And it's a hard enough time trying to do that. So when I can get past all those other things and I can begin to just focus on that love, those external factors don't bother me. I don't sweat. I don't get nervous. I don't break down. I don't fall apart. I don't begin to point fingers and judge others. I just see them where they are, and I go from there, because I know where I am and I know where I came from. So I can remain firmly entrenched there while I do the work and I minister to other people. So that's
and no matter what, and that is awesome. And you know, and again, CEO of you know who you are. You've accepted you. Your self-esteem is that, you know, and we talk about this, that you know, people, they have a problem accepting others if they haven't accepted themselves. Now, you couldn't love anybody if you didn't love you first.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, if you haven't accepted yourself, then you're worried about getting rejected from somebody. So that's why we judge people, is because we really that's an issue with our own self-esteem rather than an issue with the other person being difficult.
And if I've chosen to deal with someone that has not been accepted by others, then generally a person would be concerned that I'm going to fall into that same lot of not being accepted by others, because I've chosen to take up with this person and help this person. Well, you're over there with those.
So you're on the outs. You're not with the cool kids anymore.
And I'm not concerned about that one bit, because I know who I am, and I know I've established myself as who I am. So I'm bulletproof from that nonsense. As a matter of fact, that people won't reject me because I've decided to do those things. They won't reject me. They won't cast me out, because they know who I am. I've established that. So that gives me the freedom to go help others without any concern of rejection.
Wow. Now, we gotta go to a break here in a minute, but you were telling me a story about you were at a party one time, but you were invited to a party and you didn't want to go in, but you were there to support your friend, but you didn't want to participate. You go in and so you stayed outside, but you're there for them. And then like everybody stayed outside because they didn't want to go into the party either, but they wanted to support their friend. But the party moved to where you were, and instead of you being rejected, everyone wanted to get inside your circle.
Yes, and it was less about me, but more about the point that there are more people like me, and there are more people like us. If you're listening and you're different and you feel different because you don't want to go with the crowd, and it may not be something that's negative or that's not accepted in your own self, you're not the only one. And so when you walk out on faith that I'm going to be okay because this is the way I've decided to live, I'm okay with that, and I walk in what I walk in, you best believe that you may be encouraging someone else to do the same thing. They may feel just like you, and what ended up happening is the entire party stayed outside the party because that's where I was. And again, it wasn't because of my level of popularity, but my courage to not cross that line.
Right. And
gave
then
everyone else the freedom to not cross that line.
Right. And so you're not judging anybody going inside, but you're not caving to the pressure or whatever, and not afraid of being rejected for being outside. And then the reverse kind of happened where everybody kind of gravitated towards you. And now, and this is what happens with an elite warrior, man. People want to be in your space. And I got to tell you, Dutch, I always want to be in your space. I want to know what you think. And then I watched this week people that you just met while we're in training, and like you said, these are executives in law enforcement. These are people that put their life on the line. They want to be around you and in your space. Like I think they just met you, and they were flocking around you. And it's an amazing thing to see when somebody who is in complete control of themselves, they know who they are internally, and then they push their airspace out and just operate at that higher level mindset, that elite warrior mindset, how everybody wants to be around that person. And that's really a true leader, because leadership is just influence, and you influenced a lot of people, man, this week.
Well, I'm blessed. That's all I can say.
Yeah, me too, man, because I'm in the Dutch Coleman space. All right, bud, we got to take a break, man. We'll be right back, yeah?